funny gentleman. He would like me to say that he was just as awesome as he was before. Your first comedian, everybody, Joey Amendola.
How's it going, Brea Improv? All right, you guys ready for some comedy? Shit. All right, let's start this crazy train. So I'm kind of like the gay son my dad never really wanted. Relax, guys, I'm not actually gay. It's just I'm not really good at sports. I don't really go on dates. I don't really get laid, and I like balls in my mouth. But I mean, like in retrospect, my dad would probably take, like a gay lineman or like a gay quarterback over me, but not a tight end or a receiver. Woo! Football puns, 'tis the season. But I mean, I totally think that my dad thinks I'm gay, and that's because he keeps squeezing in that line, just in case you bring a girl home, which really let that line sink in for about 20 years. And you'll realize there's not a lot of confidence in that. Like, you remember in school how they gave you that metal blanket just in case there was a fire? I wasn't in a fire. There's really, like, nothing to go on with that. But I mean, like, let me... God damn it. This happens every time you guys laugh too much. I start just forgetting my lines. This isn't good. But... God, let's keep it moving. All right, momentum. But I mean, like, he seriously throws that line into everything. And he's like, just in case. It's not when. There's no confidence backing that. I mean, it's like, just in case you somehow find a female on the veranda, and you somehow coerce her into following you home. Get her to, like, just trick her into going through that door into that cesspool of shame you call your room. Maybe, just maybe, you want to pick up the Playgirls and the James Franco blow-up doll. Get it? But I like Craigslist because it's kind of like living D&D in real life, Dungeons and Dragons, for people that aren't as hip as me. But it's cool because, there's, that one item that you're really trying to get. You have to go miles out of your way to get to it. And once you do get there, there's a very high chance you'll get stabbed before you even get to see the thing. Crackheads, wizards, they're kind of the same thing. They're both magical creatures, and I don't know how they live as long as they do. So, I'm 20, I'm relatively young, which is nice, because I get to remember, like all those shitty phases you go through in high school, like the karate phase, US 2 Bruce Lee movies, buy some athletic pants, decide to kick ass for a living. Good career move. You go on Craigslist, find the first thing that says Kung Fu, immediately sign up, don't even read the description. Word of the wise, don't do that. You might want to read that description because I went to the place. I went to the guy's house. His house. It was a residential neighborhood. That's strike one, sensei. Next, it was in his garage. I've never seen a dojo like that, sir. Strike two. This is getting a kind of a rapey vibe. And strike 3, 4, 5 onto infinity was, once he walks out, it's a heavy-set dude with, like, jean shorts, rainbow flip-flops, and the sleeves ripped off of his, like, stained white t-shirt. I was like, Sensei Sandusky, something is seriously wrong with this picture. And I know what you're all thinking. Joey, that sounds pretty legit. I don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, and he was. He was, strangely enough, a pretty good teacher and a horrifying human being altogether. Because, anybody here watch boxing? Yeah, like 5 people? Awesome. In boxing, there's this move called the rabbit punch, which is like you hit a guy in the back of the neck, it does some hit to the brainstem, it goes out cold. It's cool. He decides to show us this move. So he's like, all right, I'm only going to do this once, so pay attention. And he walks up behind his stooge or his teacher's aide or whatever the ninjas are that hang out in the back of dojos all the time. And he just hits him on the back of the head and just goes out cold. And I'm like, holy shit, that was awesome. And he's like, yeah, you might want to be careful with that. If you do it too hard, you could kill a guy. It was the first fucking day. And he showed us how to kill a guy. What am I supposed to do with this kind of information now? So I went home and tried it. For the record, I'm not sure if you can kill a guy with it, but it works pretty well on cats. Relax, guys, it's not your cat. So I was talking about my dad earlier, and he's a great guy. If I ever come home from like a comedy show kind of early enough that he's still awake, he'll, give me the comedy advice. It's just, like, you should stand up straighter, you should talk a little bit more, you should stop talking about being gay. And like every time he does this, I always kind of respond with, oh, that's just another thing you're better than me at, huh, Dad? Huh, Dad? Dad! Sorry, I was in a different place right there. Hey, you get to leave with a cool story, because that, huh? It's like, hey, I went to the Brea Improv the other night, how was that? Saw a homeless Jonas brother just screaming like Dad. It's the darndest thing, but I think I'll go back next week. So I don't really think there are any female Smurfs. I think they're all males. I think they're just kind of pulling the wool over our eyes. Like, that'd be too convenient if there was just one. I think they were all males, but just, I don't know, let's say Chad or something. Like, they're all just like, you know what? Let's all just gang up on Chad. Like, he became like the prison bitch. And like, careers are kind of limited in Smurfs or whatever the fuck it's called. And so he's like, you know what, I might as well hold this career with a little bit of pride. Grow his hair out, start wearing a dress, start talking like this. We don't believe you, Chad. But I mean, if it was, like, Smurfette was a guy, that would kind of explain why Katy Perry did the voice in the movie. Oh, did I strike a chord with people who watch the Smurfs movie? Like, it's not like you even watch that movie with a box of tissues. Because I was crying, guys. Because I was crying. Like every time I come. A real tearjerker. Relax, guys. Relax. They're only stories. So, this is probably going to be a pretty prevalent subject, but I jerk off a bit too much. My whole family, by the way, is over here, so you better laugh, or else I just am divulging too much information for not enough reward. But yeah, and I know this because the whole jerking off thing. Let's go back to where we were. Has anybody here seen that movie American Pie? Yeah? Yeah. Alright, it's a classic. There's a scene in that movie where a foreign chick is like jerking off topless on a bed. It's awesome. I've watched that scene independently from the rest of the movie so many times that the DVD player has actually burned a ring in the DVD itself. So anytime I try to watch the movie for, cinematic quality, it skips over my favorite part. So let me ask you a question, Brea Improv. See this? Crowd work. Have any of you guys jerked off so much that the thing you're jerking off to says, you know what, man? That's probably enough. All right, thank you very much, Brea Improv. This has been fun.